Welcome everybody to the Golf in Small Spaces podcast, brought to you by Faldo Design and Himalayas Golf. And it's a pleasure today to be joined by the legendary Sir Nick Faldo. Hi, Sir Nick. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
And also by Paul Jansen, who is the founder of Himalayas Golf Design. Hi, Paul. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Patty.
So I think to start with, I'm just gonna ask you both to give me your thoughts on what is Golf in Small Spaces all about. We're launching this new thing, Golf in Small Spaces. What's it all about, Sir Nick?
Well, really, because golf, fortunately, is very popular, and I think very simply, the surfaces have got so good that it's really worth doing. It's quite beneficial. It's quite fun. It's entertaining. Obviously, many professionals do it in their back gardens because obviously keep their hand in on their putting and their chipping, what have you. But I think it's become much more of an entertainment tool now, either at home in your back garden or maybe at hotels, that sort of thing. We've got a little bit of space. I think it's just such a cool way to entertain yourself, either as a educational wise, working on your game, or pure fun with your mates.
For me, golf has been accused of taking up too much land, space, and time, right or wrong. And I think this initiative, we want to show that golf isn't just only 18 holes and can fit into just about any space and can be multiple formats. So that's, I think, very important. So in many ways, this GISS is, it's about reimagining the game by creating new generation golf facilities, introducing new players, engaging seasoned players, basically enhancing practice and entertainment opportunities. And as Sir Nick said, providing functional, sustainable, and innovative golf solutions, beyond traditional 9 and 18 hole golf course layouts. In terms of my relationship with Nick, I've known Nick now for, I started with Faldo Design in 2004, so that would be over 20 years. Back then, it was really just 18-hole golf courses, grass. And over that time, things have changed. Technology's changed, and the quality of, artificial turf, the fact that you can play indoor and outdoor golf entertainment spots weren't really a thing back then. So, when we designed back in 2004, it was really just the 18-hole golf course, and it was really just doing 18 holes. And then, there was less focus on practice, and there was very, very little focus on, pitch and putt and short courses and kind of growing the game. It was all about big golf. And I think over time, that's developed, and, there's now a stronger push for, for spaces that bring new people into the game. And I guess, over the past few years, and Nick's passion for golf in small spaces and his Faldo series, and the fact that he has strong relationships now with TrackMan and with Zico, that's exciting for me, because that's certainly a space that I've been living in the last few years. And so this is kind of a culmination of there's a lot of things that kind of 18-hole design, which we still use when building and designing small spaces. You still got to know how to design, and you design for practice and purposeful practice and design so that things work from a drainage and agronomic perspective, but in a lot smaller space.
And we've already touched on a lot of the benefits, I think, of this idea of golf in small spaces. But if we talk about some of the specific ones now, and either of you feel free to jump in and kind of address these. But I guess one of the things, Paul, I know you're in Canada. One of the things is year-round playability. Some of these indoor artificial turf facilities compared to grass facilities. Could you both maybe talk a little bit to that?
Yeah, I can speak about that. In fact, we just completed a very high-tech indoor facility up in Montreal, where I was there over Christmas and New Year, and there was about 5 or 6 foot of snow. And 10, 15 years ago, it would have been unforeseen to be playing golf in Montreal over the winter time. And now you got the space where you got TrackMan simulators, and you got PuttView, and you got putting greens indoors. And you have people in Montreal now that don't have to travel down south to Florida and Arizona to play golf. They can go to this small space that is only about 5,000 square foot, and then play all the shots in golf. There's certainly a lot of opportunities, for indoor golf using artificial turf, and being able to play every shot up within the book.
I was going to say outdoors as well. It being on artificial turf, we've got short game areas, and it definitely will add at least a month either side of your season, because these greens, any of those, so just need a leaf blower and a brush just to prepare them. And where obviously in Europe and that sort of thing, they suffer for the ground is gone, either in once it's too wet, or once you start getting worm casts and all sorts of things like that. Good old days of playing in worm casts. You've got at least a couple more months of season. So I think that's where these little artificial greens, little short game course, very, very beneficial for the members.
Also, these short game facilities made using artificial turf, when you think about the grass, you have all these divot marks and pitch marks on the greens, and that can be quite unsettling for just general practice. And I guess with artificial turf, after a heavy rain event, you can get out there in 15 to 20 minutes and play. The Woodsit turf's consistent. It's going to play like real. It's going to bounce and roll like real too. So there's a lot of pluses, and the fact too that when you think about these short game facilities, they're often kind of off to the side in a very unsuitable spot towards the grow grass. And with these synthetic turf spaces, you can kind of sit the greens under trees, or where grass doesn't grow very well, where it's very wet.
Yeah, when we're also thinking about the practice and the possibility of high level practice at these facilities, I know, Paul, you can talk about some of the projects that you've been involved with in the past, but Sir Nick, thinking about how these kind of facilities take you to the fundamentals of golf practice, I guess, the old saying, drive for show, putt for dough, but having pitch and putt areas and short game areas at such a high level that actually can enable juniors and even high level golfers to really practice the fundamentals.
Well, I think, again, as Paul was saying, if you went on a pitch and putt course and it's wet, nothing happens. You can't, you hit the shot, splat, can't go and putt out. So that's not much fun, is it? So this, a golf hole stays a golf hole, whether it's 50 yards or 150 yards long. It's still fun, and actually pretty good. You've got to be a pretty good player, to be able to just constantly hit the right little shot, and you learn. I mean, touch is one of the most important things to learn, and so you put all of that together. And as you say, the sky's the limit on our design ideas, on the space. You can have 3 holes around a lake, and 3 holes around a bunker, 3 holes through trees or something. It could be reversible, all sorts of things like this. So that's the fun of it. I think it's not like, it's just a little, and again, the standard of play, again, people think, pitch and putt is dead easy. No, not necessarily. We could make it, depending what the brief is. You get a top end player would say, I want it to be really difficult. Obviously, if you're designing a kids course, you want basically the golf ball to gather for them, so they can literally whack it in, it go anywhere, and it not going to lose it, and they can play it. So that's what Paul mentioned up at Yellowstone. We've got a very exciting project way up, high up, 8,000 feet, and that was my idea. So I wanted a kids course, an intermediate course, and then a tough golf course. So we got an opportunity to put a lot of golf holes up there for all different standards. And so we're quite excited about that project as well.
100%. Chibbers, one was a thing that I wanted to say, Paddy. We're not just artificial turf. We can do grass. That would. I mean, that's what kind of makes us somewhat unique. I think
Yeah.
as a team here is that we have experience using grass and we've got experience using artificial turf, and we're not against using both. But where it pertains to artificial turf and kind of what was my kind of aha moment, my kind of watershed moment was going down to Dave Pelz's backyard in 2015 or 16 and seeing what was possible there using was it fake turf really, and that's the real beautiful thing. As an architect, I want to be as creative as possible, and I obviously speak for what's it, Sir Nick here. And the beautiful thing with using artificial turf is you can be a lot more creative using fake grass versus using real grass. Because I'm not worried about mowing machines and sculpting or wear and tear or entry exit points. So I can really create some fun, and at the same time build in practice. And I can also change the spec or the technology within the greens too. I mean, back when the first AstroTurf was used at the Houston Astrodome 50 years ago, it was poor. But now over time, the quality of the material, but also, Tubers, the underlay systems, the Purposeful system or the system now used at the TGL event, allows the ball to bounce and roll like real, because these facilities, albeit that they're not real grass, play like real, given the fact that, Tubers, the underlay systems.
What do you think? Where do you think is there a transition in size when obviously grass get used more, Paul? Don't you think?
Yes. I mean, Sir Nick, and that's another beautiful thing about synthetic turf is that you don't need the green to be as big as a grass green. So, the reason why a grass green's so big is, as I say, you want to move the pins around, and obviously if you build more contour into your greens, the greens need to be bigger. With a synthetic turf green, you're not worried about wear and tear. So if I were to look a like for like, I mean, Dave Pelz's backyard again, if I were to use that as an example, and you got shots in there at about 120, 130 yards, the biggest green is about 2,500 square foot. Whereas when you're looking at a grass green, you don't want anything less than 4,000 to 5,000 square foot. So he's, in his space, which is only 3 acres, he's able to sit 7 replica greens.
Yeah.
And then, as he said, play just about every shot within golf. I think he said, I think he was saying, I think 70% of golfers play within 100 yards of the pin. So that's important, and and that's important. I mean, also from an environmental perspective. And if I go back to that facility, he collects and harvests water. So there's no so all the water that falls in that system gets what's collected by what's a catch basin, and then goes to a storage pit, and then gets reused for the landscaping around. So there's a lot of environmental positives.
And so Nick, I know for you, obviously, with the Faldo series and Faldo Junior stuff that you're very involved with, kind of grassroots golf and getting people into golf is a really big part of your vision. Touch a little bit on how you think facilities like this will help as we're looking to grow the game and get more people into it at I guess, an easy access point to the game.
Well, yeah, we've looked over the years at city golf, bringing opportunities into inner cities, and again, as I said, this is not just a play toy. This is serious golf for a while, proper practice and that sort of thing. I think that's more the most important thing. And when you look at some of the photographs or some of the work that Paul's done, I mean, he said stringing a golf course is really cool thing to do. I mean, I like that from squashing 18 holes down to 12, just building short and nice holes that are all lovely enclosed, that sort of thing. It gives everybody an opportunity, whether you're very young or very old. You can't go and play it. You can't go and play a pro golf course anymore. But playing a nice hole that's beautifully framed, brought in, that's what for like the 12-hole project. But I really love the idea that in a city, to have the opportunity to build a driving range. Driving ranges don't have to be 300 yards long now. That's another good one. With TrackMan involved, they can have a fantastic range of about 70, 80 yards. So then you could have a par threes around it. It could all be floodlit. My goodness, I mean, that could literally be, in some places in the world, that could be 24/7 golf.
And I think, Paul, maybe this is now a good time to ask about what we actually mean by golf in small spaces in terms of size. So, you could have something that's as small as a single putting green, or something that's as big as a full practice facility with simulators and short course. So, what in your mind fits into the category of golf in small spaces that we're talking about?
Yeah, no. So golf in small spaces will kind of show you options for whatever size space you have. I mean, be it, a 1 acre space off the side of a main road, or be it a 5,000 square foot indoor space. It can be, I guess, anything, upwards, up to 40, 50 acres. I mean, you can really do a multitude of things within a small space, and practice with purpose, and practice every shot, or just go out and have fun.
And talking of practice with purpose, I know that one of the things that you guys at Himalayas, and hopefully going forward, golf in small spaces, will be big on is kind of the idea of gamification of practice facilities that really have obvious ways to play them and ways to use them. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, Paul?
Well, I mean, Cheap, is one of the really cool things about this relationship with Sir Nick. It's kind of born out of the relationships that I've had with other golf coaches, and the fact that we can go to a golf club or a keen golfer and kind of not just speak to them about designing and all of that, the ergonomics and the drainage and the cut and fill stuff, which is the boring stuff, but actually build a space that you can actually practice with purpose. Kind of build modules, and build kind of practice zones within these spaces where people can go, and they can actually physically practice perfectly. That's one of the things that I've seen a lot with golf facilities, and at least golf course architects, is that they don't really understand practice, whereas Sir Nick does, and Chip, as a lot of these golf coaches do, and being able to also design something that people can go and actually get better, and actually score, and actually see how they're getting better. I think that's important. So certainly one of the things that I would like to do is have an actual scorecard system for some of our facilities where you can score, and you can see yourself getting better. Because again, I mean, going back to these to these practice facilities that I see at many golf clubs. I mean, clubs spend millions of dollars, but you walk onto the space and you don't know how to practice. And I think that that's going to be important. I know that that's going to be important from our perspective, to design and then build something where golfers can go and actually get better, and actually see themselves getting better. Obviously gamification, scoring, and actually designing facilities where you can play certain shots, is important.
And maybe that's a great time to ask you, Sir Nick, then, thinking about your playing career. How could a facility like this have maybe helped you to practice at that time? Looking at something like Pell's backyard, how would you have loved to use that?
With all the golf I've played and all the golf I've seen with pro-ams or what have you, if the golf is just good from a wedge in and around the greens, I mean, depending on your level already, but you will significantly, pros do it, and that's how they save 3 or 4 or 3 to 6 shots a pro will save in a day. Then you get mid-handicappers, so you've got to double that, isn't it? You've got to be 6 to 12, and then high handicappers that could save 20 shots. Sounds ridiculous, but when you see if somebody stands up with a wedge and misses a green and can't get up and down, you're wasting 2 and 3 shots, and you were back. If you could get back to that wedge and just plonk that thing to 10 or 15 feet and then maybe pop it in, well, so you've got a 2 instead of a 6 from a situation. So, and as Paul was describing, it's quite a fun thing. It makes it really productive when you've got an area with a plan to it as well. You can go to certain stations and have a completely different shot, and that's again very useful for commercial. People can go out and either be in certain, or they go off and play all the stations. So you start and just play around, and it's very beneficial because you can make every shot very different, completely different challenge. So you put all that together, and you think of a normal club with a normal chipping green, and everybody's in each other's way. Nobody knows what they're doing, and that sort of thing. Does it relate to the golf course? So you can have a real map of where, designated spots, designated shots. Try this from this certain place. God, I'd love to do that. I think that would keep. And that's the great thing about our game. That could keep people entertained for hours. That's not a 5-minute thing. I mean, it's just that's the other good thing about it. It's not that I personally would never lose interest doing that.
Maybe then, as we bring this towards a close, I'll just ask you guys, and we maybe touched on this already at the beginning, but why is 2025 an ideal time to launch golf in small spaces? What is it about this period in people's lives and in the world that makes this idea so great right now?
Yeah, I think simply, I think one, the quality of the surfaces is so it's not it's not gimmicky anymore. It's the highest level. Pros are using it. Two's the time factor. And three is exactly what we're talking about: golf in small spaces. You have an opportunity when you think, have I got to drive 30 minutes or more or somewhere to get to a proper golf course or that sort of thing? I could have something in my back garden, or it's local, or it's in a town that's just down the road, that is simply very beneficial to my entertainment and my game. I think for me, I think it's that those simple things. I think that's why and golf is in. The good thing is golf is really popular right now. Golf, after COVID, people get out. Great. They've proven physically, for our health, rather, golf is excellent for us. So why not get out there and we can play it from toddler age to, God, I could play with sorts. Got an old boy. I met an old boy the other day, 93, plays 9 holes. Hope I'm doing that. That's a pretty good deal. So I think I'd love to play a little short course when I'm 93. That would be fun.
Well, I would say that this is the future of golf. I mean, it's certainly cutting edge. It's the kind of evolution of the game. A lot of which people are not ready for 18 holes, and these facilities will introduce people to the game. A lot of which people to the game, and that's quite exciting for me, and certainly for us. And then there's been always a massive growth in this non-traditional golf space. And, technology has got so good, as Sir Nick was saying, so this is certainly, the opportune moment. No doubt about it. And going back to space, I mean, time and space, I mean, which people don't seem to have time anymore. And certainly there isn't much space left. So, being able to do stuff in smaller spaces makes a lot of sense.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and make sure to follow Himalayas Golf and Faldo Design on social media for the latest news about golf in small spaces.